You're doing everything right, the grind, the late nights, the vision board, the self-help books. But deep down, something's not clicking. You're stuck in this weird space, not failing, but definitely not winning. And here's the part nobody tells you. The reason you're not winning yet has nothing to do with talent, timing, or luck. It's something else. Something most people will never see because it's buried beneath the goals, the routines, the damn ambition. You were taught to hustle your way to success, but what if I told you that hustle might be the very thing holding you back? Yeah, let that mess with your head for a second, because this isn't just about hard work. It's about who's doing the work inside. You think your problem is out there, but the truth, you're being sabotaged from the inside by a belief you didn't even know you had. And if you don't deal with it, you'll keep waking up, busy but broke, motivated but lost, smart as hell but still wondering, why the fuck am I not further along by now? Stick around, because what I'm about to reveal, most people never hear it until it's too late, and that's exactly why you need to. Let me tell you something from experience. Winning doesn't begin with victory. It begins with a decision, a moment where you stop running from the work, stop hiding behind potential, stop negotiating with your fear like it's got something valuable to say. I used to think success would feel like applause, like everybody standing and clapping and calling my name, but it didn't. It felt like rejection. It felt like being alone in a room full of critics. It felt like doing the right thing without knowing if it would ever pay off. So, if you're not winning yet, maybe it's because you're waiting for the world to confirm your worth. Let me tell you, the world doesn't hand out permission slips. You gotta take that win from it. You want a success mindset? Start here. Every excuse is a lie your comfort zone tells to survive. I know that might sting, but I promise you nothing beautiful ever grew in comfort. Comfort is where dreams go to die quiet. Growth is ugly. It's sweaty, it's lonely. It's saying yes when your legs are shaking and your voice is cracking and every part of you is screaming wait until it's perfect. But nothing will ever be perfect. You think I waited until I had all the answers? Hell no. I leapt and I got bruised. I embarrassed myself. But you know what? I learned how to fly on the weight. You're not losing because you're not good enough. You're losing because you haven't stayed in the game long enough to become good enough. Let me drop something on you. The difference between winners and almost winners. Winners don't ask the world for validation. They validate themselves by showing up again and again without applause. They don't wait for motivation. They create systems so they keep moving even when the fire's out. They stop looking at how far they've got to go and they start falling in love with how far they've already come. You want personal growth? Stop chasing the big moment. Start stacking small wins every single day. You know what most people miss? Success doesn't feel like fireworks. It feels like discipline, like silence, like saying no to 99 things you want so you can say yes to the one thing you need. And I know right now you might be thinking, but I've tried. I've failed. I'm tired. And I hear you. But let me ask you something. What's the cost of staying stuck? How many more years are you going to give away waiting to feel ready? How many gifts are going to rot inside you because you were too polite to fight for them? Look, this is not a game for the timid. This is a soul-level decision. You either become the version of you that keeps promises to herself, or you keep living in the shadow of the one who doesn't. So here's the quiet truth no one's telling you. The world's not rejecting you. You're rejecting yourself every time you doubt your own fire. You don't have to feel like a winner yet. You just have to act like one and keep acting like one until the results catch up. Now, if you stick with me through this whole message, I'm going to unpack exactly what shifted everything for me, the real mindset moves, the habits, the decisions that made me dangerous in the pursuit of success. But you got to stay locked in, because this next part, this is where we stop talking and start transforming. Let's get something straight. Success is not about luck. It's not about being born into the right family. It's not even about talent. It's about consistency, showing up when you don't feel like it, when nobody's watching, and when you've got every reason to quit. See, people love to celebrate the finish line, but they don't talk about the hell you walked through to get there. Nobody claps for you when you're waking up at 5 a.m. tired, frustrated, and still pushing. Nobody celebrates you when you're grinding in silence while the rest of the world scrolls, parties, and settles. But let me tell you what I learned from years of being in this game. Success doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards the most committed, the ones who treat every day like it matters. Because it does. Most people fail not because they lack ability, they fail because they keep starting over. They get inspired, take action for a few days, then drop off. Then they wonder why they're still stuck. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're digging for gold. You've got a shovel, you're sweating, you're dirty, and you've been digging for weeks. You're 3 feet away, just 3 feet from striking it, but you don't know that. You just see more dirt, more disappointment, more silence. So you give up. You hand the shovel to someone else. They dig for it 2 more days and boom, gold. And you're standing there like, wait, what? That was supposed to be mine. Yeah, it was, but you didn't stay long enough to claim it. Let me be real with you. This isn't about chasing some fairy tale finish line. This is about building you, brick by brick, decision by decision. And if you're not winning yet, it's not because you're broken. It's because you're building. The problem is you keep measuring the wrong thing. You're counting likes, followers, approval, but you should be counting reps. How many times you showed up when you were tired? How many times you did the work when it felt pointless? How many times you kept going when it was easier to ghost your own potential? You want self-improvement? Start tracking your habits, not your hopes. Because let me tell you, hope without action is just a wish. And nobody ever built a legacy off a wish. Now, I know that might sound harsh, but I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to tell you the truth. You're powerful, but power without direction turns into chaos. You've got drive, I can feel that. Drive without focus leads to burnout. It's like this, you've been putting fuel in the tank, but you keep switching lanes. You keep getting distracted. You keep letting other people's opinions steer your wheel. You'll never reach your destination if you keep rerouting every time someone doubts you. And you know what's wild? Some of the people around you right now, they benefit from you not winning. Because if you level up, they gotta look at themselves. They gotta confront the fact that they settled. So what do? They try to keep you small. They say, you've changed. Damn right, I changed. I had to. Growth is not supposed to be comfortable. Let me share something I learned after a hard season in my life. People will outgrow you. You what? That's not drama. That's development. There was a time I wanted to please everybody. I thought success meant making sure no one felt left behind. But you know what that got me? Tired, frustrated, empty. You can't win if you're carrying everyone else's expectations on your back. Drop the weight, pick up your pace. Now here's something deep. Winning isn't a destination. It's an identity. It's not about achieving one goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who wins by how they live. Winners aren't perfect. They just keep their word. They say, I'm gonna show up, and then they do. They say, I'm gonna get better, and then they grind even when no one's looking. You want personal growth? Start here. Make promises to yourself and keep them. You do that for 30 days straight, I guarantee you'll walk different, talk different, think different. Because the biggest transformation happens not when the world believes in you, but when you finally believe in you. And that starts with this moment. Right here, you made it this far, so I already know you're not built like the rest. Now stay with me because what's coming next, it's gonna shake your perspective. I'm gonna show you the shift that took me from performing to transforming. You ain't seen nothing yet. Let's get to the part no one really talks about, the internal war. You wanna know why you're not winning yet? Because deep down, there's a version of you that still doesn't believe you deserve it. I know, that hits. You show up, you do the work, you make the plans, but when the moment to step into the spotlight comes, something inside you flinches. That voice whispers, you're not ready. You're not enough. You don't belong here. That's not your truth. That's your trauma. We've all got baggage. Moments where we fail and made it mean something about who we are. Times we got laughed at, ignored, overlooked, and we swallowed it. Turned it into a story. Now that story's driving your life. Let me be honest with you, I had to unpack that pain to get free. I had to go all the way back to the version of me that thought being liked was more important than being real. That version of me was scared to disappoint, scared to outshine, scared to rise, because rising meant losing people who were comfortable with my smallness. Listen, if you're serious about self-improvement, you need to understand this. Growth is a threat to your past self. It's gonna feel like you're betraying the old you. And in a way you are, because the old you couldn't take you where you're going. The old you was built for survival. The new you, she's being built for impact. And impact requires something deeper than hustle. It requires healing. You can outwork your wounds. You can't fake confidence forever. At some point, you gotta go inward and ask yourself, why do I keep hitting the same wall? Because success is not just a mountain you climb, it's a ceiling you break. Let me tell you what broke my ceiling. It wasn't money. It wasn't status. It wasn't standing on a stage or hearing my name in lights. It was waking up one morning and realizing I'm done waiting for someone to rescue me from me. I had to become the person I was always looking for. You feel me? And here's the wild part. The second I started acting like I was already enough doors open, people noticed. Opportunities flowed. Not because the world changed, but because I did. You want that success mindset and kill the lie that says you need to be perfect first. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you followed through just because you said you would? Not for applause, not for Instagram, but because you said to yourself, I don't quit on me anymore. That's power, and it builds. Every single day you honor your word, your confidence grows. You start trusting yourself. And when a woman trusts herself, she becomes unstoppable. Let me break this down like this. There are 3 versions of you living inside right now. Version 1, the saboteur. This voice wants you to stay safe. She's the one that says, just chill, don't take the risk. What if you fail? She means well, but she's scared. Version 2, the performer. She's obsessed with proving something. She works hard, but burns out, always trying to earn love instead of receiving. She's exhausted, always chasing. Version 3, the leader. This is who you're becoming. She doesn't need permission. She's clear. She moves with vision, not emotion. She takes the damn shot and adjusts later. Now, which one have you been feeding? Because whichever voice you feed is the one that leads. I had to stop listening to the saboteur. I had to forgive the performer. And I had to start choosing the leader every single day. And look, I'm not saying it's easy, but damn, it's worth it. Let me give you something practical, because if you're serious about personal growth, you need habits that anchor you. Here are 3 non-negotiable asks that changed everything for me. 1, mornings are sacred. Don't let the world enter your mind before you do. No scrolling. No. Focus. Remind yourself who you are and what you're building. To discipline over dopamine. What feels good now often robs you later. But what feels hard now pays you for life. Skip the scroll. Write the plan. Do the reps. 3, reflection before reaction. Most people are triggered all day, they react. They spiral, they waste energy. Not you. Take the pause. Ask, is this helping me grow or keeping me stuck? That's the shift. That's the difference between girls who dream and women who win. And let me tell you, some of the most powerful transformations I've seen didn't happen on camera. They happened in the dark. Late nights. Quiet tears. Silent decisions. Success is built in the shadows long before the light ever finds you. And before we move on, let me remind you of one last truth. You are not behind. You're not late. You're just in the part of the story where most people quit. But you're not most people. You're still here, still pushing, still becoming. It's power. What's coming next? That's where the game changes. Now we're getting into it. Let's talk about something nobody really wants to admit. You don't get what you want, you get what you expect. Yeah, let that sit for a second. Because right now, whether you realize it or not, you're shaping your future by what you quietly believe is possible. You say you want success. You say you want growth. But when you look in the mirror, what do you expect to see? A winner or someone who keeps falling short? You can't fake your expectations. The world doesn't respond to your potential, it responds to your posture. The way you carry yourself, the way you move when no one's cheering, the way you show up when everything around you says, why bother? I used to think success came from setting big goals. But what changed my life wasn't goal setting, it was identity shifting. I stopped asking, what do I want to achieve? And I started asking, who do I need to become to deserve the outcome? Because if your habits don't match your vision, then your vision is just a fantasy. Let me break this down. There was a moment in my life where I felt stuck, publicly successful, but privately lost. I was doing the work. I was checking the boxes. But deep inside, I didn't feel aligned. I felt like I was chasing approval instead of chasing purpose. I was doing what looked impressive, not what felt true. So I made a decision to rebuild my identity from the inside out, to stop proving and start becoming. You want personal growth? Stop upgrading your goals and start upgrading your standards. Winners don't wait for motivation. They don't chase discipline. They become the kind of person who does what needs to be done, no matter how they feel. Think of it like this: your life is a reflection of the standards you tolerate, not the dreams you write in your journal. Let's say you want to get in shape. You can watch all the videos, follow all the fitness pages, buy the best gear. But if your standard is still, I'll show up when I feel like it, guess what? You're not gonna win. Same goes for business, relationships, healing, spiritual growth. If your standards stay low, your results will too. So here's the shift. Raise your floor, not just your ceiling. What does that mean? It means your worst day, your most tired, uninspired, frustrated day still meets an unnegotiable level of effort. That's what separates winners from everyone else. And let's be real, this doesn't mean being robotic. This doesn't mean hustle until you burn out. I'm not talking about grind culture. I'm talking about character. Because you don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your systems. Your routines, your mindset, your core beliefs. Let me ask you, what system are you running right now? If your system is based on avoiding discomfort, on pleasing people, on waiting for motivation to strike a rhythm, it's no mystery why you're not winning yet. Now, this is where it gets deeper. Success is not about doing more. It's about becoming someone who is no longer available for the excuses that used to run her life. That means you're no longer available for procrastination. You're no longer available for self-doubt. You're no longer available for fake friendships that drain your fire. You're no longer available for being liked more than you're respected. And hear me, this level of growth will trigger people. Because when you start to glow different, the ones who benefited from your dimmings, they get uncomfortable. But that's okay, because you didn't come here to stay small. You came to disrupt, to shift, to rise. And let's look at some real-life examples of this kind of rise. There are people who've been through deeper setbacks than you could imagine. I'm talking women who've lost everything: jobs, marriages, support systems. And yet they turned that rock bottom into a launch pad. Why? Because they stopped asking why me and started saying watch me. They got serious about healing. They built routines when nobody was clapping. They learned to speak to themselves with respect, even when the world didn't. And they didn't just succeed, they transformed. Because success without growth is just a trophy. But growth changes your whole damn life. Now I want you to look at your own life. Where have you been shrinking? Where have you been pretending not to want it just so you don't have to be disappointed? Where have you been blaming time, money, people, your past, instead of owning your present? This is not judgment. This is love. Real love confronts. Real love tells the truth even when it stings. You're not here to settle. You're not here to live the same week on repeat and call it a life. You are here to lead. And that's not about being perfect. That's about being relentless. So I'll say it again, if you're not winning yet, maybe it's because you haven't become the version of you who demands a higher life. Not with your mouth, with your actions, with your discipline, it's your energy. And if you're ready to become her, then stay with me. Because what I'm about to share next, it's the final piece, the shift that makes everything else stick. If you've made it this far, you already know something's waking up inside you. That's not a coincidence. That's not hype. That's true rising to the surface. Now let me give you something you won't hear in most motivational talk. Success is spiritual. It's not just about hustle. It's about alignment. See, you can stack goals all day. You can grind until your body gives out. But if your spirit's not in it, if your why is weak, you will burn out. You will break down. You will start to confuse progress with punishment. And that's not the life we're building. Let me be real. You don't need more effort. You need deeper intention. You're not losing because you don't work hard enough. You're losing because you keep forgetting why you started. You keep waking up reacting to the world instead of creating your world. Scrolling before breathing. Pleasing before reflecting. Surviving instead of leading. And that's where everything starts to shift. Because the moment you get clear, everything begins to reorganize around that clarity. The people, the opportunities, the challenges, they don't disappear, but you stop being shaken by them. You start moving with calm, with confidence, with conviction. Let me drop this on you. Conviction is louder than fear. It doesn't shout. It doesn't flex. It just moves, decides, acts. That's the mindset of someone who wins not once, but over and over and over again, because her wins aren't accidents. They're evidence of the woman she decided to become. Let me tell you what I wish someone told me earlier. There is no arrival. There's no magical moment where it all clicks and you never struggle again. You don't get there. You get here and you keep evolving. That's personal growth. That's the success mindset. That's real motivation. It's not some Pinterest quote. It's waking up tired and still honoring your word. It's being scared and still showing up like you believe in yourself. It's building characters so strong, even your doubts get tired of fighting you. Let me say this plain, you're already enough, but you're not finished. And you can't afford to keep treating your purpose like it's optional. Every time you delay, doubt, or downplay your gift, you make space for someone less qualified to take your spot. and let that hit. You think being humble means being quiet. Now, humility is being honest about what's inside you and honoring it with discipline. The world doesn't need your silence. It needs your standard. It needs your leadership. It needs your presence. You want to know why you're not winning yet? Because you're still dimming your own fire to keep other people comfortable in their excuses. You're still negotiating with fear like it's got something new to say. You're still asking permission to live fully from people who barely live at all. Step into it. You're not crazy for dreaming big. You're not overthinking you're underdecided. It's time to choose, to claim, to create. So what now? Let me give you something simple but powerful, a 3-step daily commitment to lock into. One promise you keep. No matter what, big or small, make a promise each morning. Keep it. Build trust with yourself again. Through one lie you drop, they all have them. I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. Pick one and leave it behind today. 3-1 move you make. Action, even messy action. Send the email, make the call, write the plan, move the needle. You do those 3 every day for a month, I promise you won't even recognize the woman looking back at you in the mirror. Because she won't just be motivated, she'll be transformed. And that's what we're about here at Wisdom Recorder. We're not here to impress. We're here to ignite, to build women who lead their lives with purpose, grit, and soul. So let me leave you with this. You may not be winning yet, but the version of you that wins, she's not far away. She's just waiting on one thing to believe, to begin, to become. We are Wisdom Recorder, your knowledge source. If this hit home, subscribe and like for more content that speaks to your rise. Let's go.